Am I still into talking and sharing and philosophizing? Yes. And I have a new devotional, a short devotional, which I've wanted to do more of. And it's a different way of looking at Psalm 23, a different angle. Maybe some others have done this, but I've had to do it recently. But I'm still into politics. I have not had time to study them. I've been super busy recently, and I've been at a loss for words, and reassessing a lot of things. I still get epiphanies, but I've been at a loss for words recently, or had my epiphany at the wrong time of day when I wasn't able to record, and then I'm on to the next thing. But Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd. I use it recently to remind myself, because I've studied medicine and the cultural divides, because I think our laws are sabotage, and America's biggest problem is stealing. It's lying and stealing, and lying is used to steal a lot, right, when you're using defamation. But I think, in my view, the biggest problem America has is stealing, and it's supported by creating a cultural divide. I'm walking right now, and I took my glasses off because I can't see the phone with my glasses on. I can't see up close. But and I don't like bifocals. I see better up close without glasses. But I've had to, through some of my experiences recently, I've had to make sure that I'm not making up in my own mind who God is, who Jesus is in character, and qualifying for me pacifism. So I've allowed myself to be multicultural more than most people in life, and I've run into a lot of danger and a lot of bullying, people, threats and things like that. And I have to discern if I'm being a pacifist a lot of times, and versus just being kind, compassionate. And so that's a mixture, though. It is a mixture. I'm not just one thing. I'm not just a pathetic pacifist. I've definitely been a pacifist many times. I've definitely tried to give people second chances, tried to understand where they're coming from, why they act the way they do. I've understood that culture taught them to be the way they are. If it's very non-cordial, very inconsiderate, I've not just looked at calling somebody inconsiderate and stuff. I understand they're actually taught to be that way, and that it's okay in a lot of cultures I've run across. So, and I do that in order to relate as a human being instead of just stereotype. And so at the same time, I've had to learn how to, I guess as of recently, I'm learning I can't just be friendly to everybody. I'm learning to put my foot down, and for instance, if people are threatening me for my phone, or want my phone, use my phone, I run into that a lot. But I'm just going to start saying no. I don't let people use my phone. And if they decide to jump me or whatever for my phone, then that's an assault you can call in. That's an assault they're clearly guilty of assault then, right? So I'll say, I'll say, only way I can let you use my phone is if I make the phone call for you. And many people will lie and say they're calling their mom or something, and they're actually calling a drug dealer. And I don't want somebody calling a drug dealer on my phone. So that's still difficult there. Do I even make a phone call for them? But sometimes people have an emergency. People who don't have phones or lost their phone. And I just can't completely rule out trying to help them get to where they need to go. A lot of people can. So I'm not sure if I can completely rule that out, and I'm different in that way. So that is compassionate, that is considerate, that is a spiritual, trying to love my neighbors. And so, to me, it opens a pathway for them to see the Holy Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, goodness. These are the fruits of the Spirit in Galatians 5. Gentleness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. So that's who God's character is, his Spirit. That's part of it. But in Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. I have no... There's many needs. There's a lot of things that you can glean from I shall not want. I can be content. My greatest needs are met. I'm going to live forever with a loving God, with the only loving God, the all-powerful God who rose from the dead and shows us the power of life. So, who is God? He doesn't want me stuck around these people. Now, it's happened, and he taught Paul how to deal with being imprisoned and abused by barbaric leaders. And we have a lot of barbarians in society today, in the divide of society. People who love to steal and hurt people, who just love to see the power. Some people ask for money all the time just because they love seeing people give in to giving it. Right? They ask from poor people, I'm saying, from other poor people. It's okay to give people something if it's not hurting you. If you're not doing it because you're scared or feel threatened, then I guess it's okay to do it if you feel threatened, because law is not on our side today. You can be called prejudiced for not giving somebody money. Anyway, so I don't know, it's hard to discern some of that sometimes, but if I have extra money, I usually give something to somebody, even if nobody's asked. I like to give. When I have some money in hand, when I've gotten some money, I like to give at least a little something to somebody, and then once I've done that, at least once before I've delegated everywhere else, right? I'm supposed to give it to God. Sometimes when I give it to somebody, I view that as giving it to sharing God with people, God's love. So we're supposed to give to God, first off the tithe and all that. So, but even before you do the rest of your budget, make sure it's done before you spend your budget. So I like to do that. And then once I've done it, I don't feel like I need to do it again. So if I've doing it again after that, it's because I was feeling pressured or threatened or something else, or I saw a real need, a more emergency-like need. So he maketh me to lie down in green pastures. So you don't have to stay around. If you're able to get away from trouble, you get away from trouble, and you don't feel guilty for being relaxed and at ease and all that, because God maketh us, he leads us into green pastures. Lie down in green pastures. He leads us beside still waters, paths of peace. He restores our soul. So these people who don't believe in second chances and all that, we're defining who God is in Psalm 23, and that's the point. Psalm 23 helps define who God is. He restores my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness. So you don't stay around that stuff, any negative stuff, if you can help it. You walk away and don't feel bad and don't feel like a snob. But I've had to tell myself I've got to learn to be more of a snob at certain times. And I like being alone and thinking and being away from trouble. And but recently I've made more, I have to be around it. Sometimes in your path of business, you have to go through areas, right? That he leads us in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Not so I can say I'm holy, I'm good, We try to talk about us being holy. I don't want to get too long here. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil, for thou art with me. So sometimes your path, business and other things, you have to go around negative people, right? So, hey, and so how do I apply that? Sometimes, and it brings temptation. Sometimes it brings dealing with situations on your own, how to manage situations and putting your foot down. But I just ran into something recently. A person who believed that Satan is omnipresent everywhere. And this is a believer, somebody who claims to be a believer, but he's not. God is omnipresent. So, I would say, anyway, that's a thought, but that's something to think of when you're going through those times. And let's see, I've already gone 11 minutes and 18 seconds. Good morning. And I didn't want to take up that much space on my phone, but anyhow, I was just walking past somebody. I didn't want them to be afraid of me at this time of the morning, but they don't know I'm videoing either. It's an older fella. So to finish my thought on that, I kind of forgot. There's many things you can glean from just realizing, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. I have a hard time knowing what my mindset's supposed to be at those times, because you know what? Hold on. I'm going to close out. I know this is a terrible conclusion. I have no conclusion, but I got to go. But I'm going to try to get some small conclusion here. But I've had to go through Psalm 23 and remind myself, forgot to point this out. He leads us in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. So when I've studied the medicine laws, and I have everybody contesting me about plant medicine and making things legal or having them regulated, and that's going to be a promotion for more use, that's science. Science, we should tell the truth in science. That's about, they that worship the Lord must worship him in truth and in spirit. And there's truth in every area of life. There's a truth and a lie in mathematics and everything. And we should get the truth right on that subject too. And if you're not supporting the truth, you're not helping people walk a cleaner path. You're making it worse. But the way that the things are now, it's actually, medicine is in people's faces all the time for the sake of money. Somebody wants to make money off of somebody, and it's greed, and they really don't even care about medicine or doing medicine proper or having good medicine. These people that run medicine today are in the streets. They haven't been to college. Some of them have. I guess the scientists might have. But they get it from a plant. The plants are generally safe compared to what they mix and create in the strongest concentrated forms they put in the street. But those aren't the biggest problems. The biggest problems is that people use them to isolate folks, because the laws, they're not scared to break the laws and carry it on them, but they bring them into people's presence and use them for intimidation tactics, because people don't like being outside the peace of the law and stuff, peacefulness of following the rules. And most people don't. They just want to mind their business, stick to the basic rules, and stay out of trouble. But these are people who are bullies, and they'll push their limits all the time in order to be a bully and get what they want and to intimidate other people. And it's more psychological warfare than it is about a medicine. And we've demonized medicines, which can be dangerous and easily very unwise to use. Be careless with medicine at all. And most people say you don't need it at all. Well, you sure don't. Not in heaven. You don't have a physical body. You don't have pain. You don't have anything. And most of the time, people don't need medicine. But it's not a sin to use a medicine proper. There's nothing in the Bible that indicates improper interpretation that medicine is a sin. God created medicine. Okay, so I forgot my point there. He leads us in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Well, so that matters a lot to remind us that God is into righteousness and having a sober mind. A lot of times when the Bible's talking about a sober mind, it's not even talking about medicines. It's talking about to control your anger, to be temperate, to be patient. But it also does talk about medicines and having a sober mind so you don't block out the spirit. If I've had too much caffeine, I don't feel prayerful. I don't sense the spirit. I can force myself to pray and understand who God is and the presence of God and who I'm talking to, and make requests and thank Him for life. But I don't sense the spirit as much if I'm on too much caffeine. And He wants us to be sober-minded, so His spirit may abound. Let's see. Be not drunk with wine, that's a medicine, wherein is success, but be filled with the Spirit, singing to yourselves in psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. Alright. So I guess the main reminder of the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Is that He does lead us into green pastures. And so you do want to create a proper ratio of isolation as much as you can, so you can be alone with God or with people who are in support of God and good things, for peaceful reasons, for God's righteousness, for people to see God's righteousness and His Spirit and His righteousness, and to feel the power of the Spirit, to understand that we are sinners, but He restores us, He forgives us. We want God's character to show through. It's not all about a reputation, so it doesn't matter what I did yesterday. People can mock you and make fun of you because you're trying to walk straight again. If you've made mistakes in life, which we all have, and some embarrassing mistakes in life. Some of us have made more embarrassing mistakes than others, but we're still supposed to get back up and walk straight. Not because so people can say, oh, glory be to Bobby. So people can say, all glory be to God. I'll just end on that note. We need God because the destination is heaven or hell. Remind people of heaven and hell.